Alright, what's up, guys? I got another vlog today, and I'm just gonna talk about some stuff. I'm gonna just go off the top of my head while I'm working on things. So, uh, One of the things that's really cool about the project that I'm currently working on is something that I kind of, I wish that I had thought about this sooner. It's the idea that you can design a game where the game is designing the game, it never occurred to me like how that would be a good thing to do, especially for like an indie developer, right? And I get a lot of people who will say like, "Oh well, whoa, if you spend all this time making a level editor, then that's time you could have spent working on the game." But what if the game is working on the game? That changes everything. It's a completely different philosophy. Like I sit here and I'm like, oh shit, like hold on a minute. Well, slow down here. Slow down 1 second. You mean you mean I could be in a situation where I'm designing the game, and like somebody could jump in and join, and I could be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna place let's see, I'm gonna place a zombie security guard guy over here, right? And I'm gonna oh, he's facing the wrong way, so let me turn him around. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we got one of these guys, and then I could just click a button and I could be like, okay, yeah, and then he spawns, right? So there's like a little bit of a delayed spawn. And you see in the bottom left right here, like I got my pistol, my shotgun, my rifle. This is the character that I'm currently playing as. Then I pull out one of my guns and he spawns and I can shoot him, and then I can kind of jump around the room and get a feel for what it's like, and then I could be doing this in a co-op environment where somebody else is still working on another part of the map over there. And you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the Minecraft videos. The Minecraft videos, you know what I'm talking about, like where they're always working on stuff. They're always working on some kind of a project, and then there's like gameplay in as part of the experience of working on it, right? So I go right back into the editor mode, and I go back into editing actors. I fly up. I'll be like, okay, I'll put a zombie shotgun guy over here because I think maybe this is like maybe this will be a good idea for something, you know what I mean? And maybe I'll go into the demons, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna put up an evil eye like up here, like sort of in this corner over here, right? Now, the spawn points aren't visible when you switch into combat mode. Like these things become invisible, but like, you know what I mean? All right, it it dumbfounds me because when I'm thinking about this, it's like I can make videos where I'm talking about the stuff that I'm doing, and I'm part of the it's part of the fucking game. It's the game. The game is the building the game. The game of the game. It's like Inception. So I'm here building it, making content, talking about building it, and going over all the fundamentals of level design and all that stuff. But I'm still shooting shit, and people can watch the guns go off, and I get loot, and I can kill monsters, and I could still experience all the stuff that you experience while playing. And it's also in a multiplayer environment, just like with like something like Minecraft, and it all kind of like ends up tying into this, like just making sort of like a classic arena shooter type a PvE experience. Why didn't I think about this sooner? Maybe I don't know. It's a weird idea, because one of the problems is like if you're fundamentally only working, if you're doing like game development videos and stuff like that all the time, one of the things that will always come up is like, well, people don't always like to watch that kind of stuff. It's boring. You're always looking at code, and I'm definitely taking a hit on that front as far as like viewership and stuff like that, or video content, um because like it's just boring to watch, right? Because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm still building the fundamental basic building blocks that are going to allow me to develop in this more entertaining way, where part of the game is building the game, kind of in a situation. So like, um I don't I can't, like, for the life of me, um I can't get around how beneficial it'll be to have the like a half decent level editor and being able to run around and shooting and have it be entertaining while also working at the same time. You know how many birds I'm killing with one stone? Do you understand that? Like, how many birds can I be killing with one stone? Doing something like that, and not only that, but it's something that's available to other people, so other people can have their own projects, and they can build their cool things, and they can have like something that they enjoyed building and sharing, and then that also kind of spreads things even further because now it's not just like some side project. You know what I mean? Like now it's other people are also doing the same thing, where they're getting a chance to experience building the game as part of the game, being part of the process of it. And then you'll have people who just want to play the content. They don't really care about the editing part and all they want to do. Well, guess what? If building a game becomes part of the game, there's always going to be more content because there's no way to end it. It's just endless at that point in time. So the people who enjoy the building aspect, well, they can continuously pour out more and more content over a long period of time, while while people who want to play are just sort of fed this like endless. I don't know. I mean, I can keep ranting about it, but I don't know if I really talked about it or at least um, gone into this much detail or made a video that was where this was just like the main focus and everything like that. And I mean, this is something that kind of definitely weighs pretty heavily with me because I feel like, I feel like with this system, I can get in pretty decent like classical scripting, interactives like doors and switches and things of that nature, volumes for like if you fall like death volumes and volumes for like water, liquids and stuff, so that makes it so that um you can swim, placing cool lighting effects. Honestly, this is going to be a pretty decent level editor. It's not just some, snap map bullshit. And I wonder about that. Like, and also too, I mean, the spectator mode. So people who don't have permission to edit but are still part of the server, if they see a monster, if they see a monster spawn, they can possess the monster and run around as that monster, and shoot fireballs at you, or take that, or make him do weird stuff, or make him commit suicide to help you out. I don't know, like whatever it is. Like they're probably just gonna troll you the whole time and try to kill you, but um, you can spawn, and every once in a while you can even spawn your own, one of your own monsters, so that keeps players on edge as well. So like anytime, even if somebody is just in combat mode and they're just running through the game, normally if somebody joins in, um, they can sort of invade your game if you leave it open for people to be able to join. So you can have like a few people invading you, and like now all of a sudden the monsters are super smart and they're running around and they're doing like crazier shit, and you know what I mean. You might have to invite some friends in to play some co-op, to help you out. Otherwise, these spectators are just gonna tear you a new butthole, and stuff like that. So there's an aspect to this I think that makes it fundamentally different. There's a lot of like really cool first-person shooters though. Um, I'm watching actually this space grow for classic first-person shooters. I'm seeing a lot of people making some really cool stuff. I know I've mentioned Project Warlock. I'm looking forward to Proteus. There's another one called like a Death Reaver, that looks pretty neat. It's like crushing it with the numbers. All of those games are going to be more expensive than my game too. That's one of the weird things about this is that I'm I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that maybe lowering the price of Revulsion down to $10 is probably a good idea. Especially since I'm working on the sequel right now, right? Um, and the sequel is going to be backwards compatible level design. This is the sequel that you're looking at right now, but it will include backwards compatible level design tools for the first game. So I'll have something that's, a lot more. complete, like a lot more content than those other games, but um, selling for significantly less. Um, you know, nearly half the price. So that I don't know. Maybe that'll help out right now. Revulsion's not really selling super well. It's about $200 a month. I've mentioned it before. Well, anyway, I don't know. I just kind of felt like going on a rant about that. And it's kind of interesting too because I really, really, really would love, I would absolutely love to get this things to a point where I'm able to kind of continue to produce this kind of project and then like just keep developing and getting better at it and continuing to improve um, this so that it's almost like I can, if you put me on a desert island, I can I can build a new one in like 3 months. You know what I mean? Like and like get all the fundamentals together, like and just be able to like MacGyver my fucking a new type of first person shooter just based on that and using these kinds of fundamentals, the fundamentals of like making the playing the game as part of making it so that playing the game is part of, or making the game as part of playing the game, you know, and like that could be extrapolated out to a lot of different things. That sort of mindset is something that is well, it doesn't even exist in the AAA space. Like they don't want to do that kind of stuff because it bogs down in their ability to do microtransactions and shit. This is something that kind of uh, uh, strikes at that entire that entire concept of being able to like milk people for microtransactions. I could sell something that even the biggest game developers out there with 100-person teams, 100+ person teams, uh, can't offer, right? I mean, this is true for anyone. I was actually kind of thinking a little bit too. I guess let me sort of segue into a different this topic because I always kind of talk about Revulsion. Um, the other games, the other first-person shooters, I was kind of wondering if you guys would be interested in me doing let's plays for other games that are in the similar genre because in my opinion the rising tides raises all ships. If more people are interested in these kinds of first person shooters, then you know what I mean, like um, it's a good thing. It's overall a good thing. I don't think that this is going to be a zero sum game. I think that the space has plenty of. I think there's a lot of room to grow. So it's not exactly like I'd be hurting myself by checking out other people's games and playing them and enjoying them and making live streams of me doing stuff like that. I know that I have to end up being really busy with this, but at some point I'll probably have a little bit more time to divest into uh, I guess playing like doing a full playthrough of something like Project Warlock, or I think that would probably be one of the first ones. I messaged the lead dev of Project Warlock, and I was like, yeah, I really like your stuff. This is really cool. And maybe I could do I can kind of make it a sort of thing where I I I check out and keep track of like these kind of classic first-person shooters. The ones that have a little bit more PVE, maybe a bit more PVE centric, are the ones that interest me most. But there are other first-person shooters like Reflex and oh god, no, there's an awful lot of them. But the ones that focus too much on PvP, I don't think that they really I don't think that they have that kind of a hope. In fact, I think that this market doesn't really. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the market really has that much room for that kind of game at this point in time because I think people are too busy playing other games that do have that same thing to offer. See, the difference here is what I'm professing to offer is something that the big AAA studios simply can't do. They're fundamentally against doing something where you make part of the game as making the game, because if you do that, you won't be able to microtransaction every tiny little aspect of the game, so that they'll never have a chance to really nickel and dime everybody, and and dehumanize the whales and or whatever. Like, the term whale is actually very dehumanizing, I think. You're not even thinking of a person as a person at that point in time. I mean, that actually kind of brought up some things too, like the the idea of doing crypto a crypto based game. Um, it's kind of difficult not to end up with a game that's very microtransaction heavy if you go into the crypto space, which very much goes against what I'm preaching now, like what I'm heading towards now. You know, um, when it comes to crypto, like I can imagine though having a first person shooter, for example, where the entire point, it's a little bit like Fallout 76. You ever think of Fallout 76 as like you have those areas where you defend them and they generate resources? That would be like mining resources. So like basically you would have a big open world, kind of like Fallout 76 or something like that, and you would have these nodes, right? So let me go out here into the terrain, and there, let's say like there's a node over here, right? And like what you would do is you would take control of the node, and then start placing turrets and fortifying it, and then making sure other players can't take that node from you. And while everybody's logged in and you're defending that node, the node begins mining the currency, and or the quote unquote currency. It can be all kinds of stuff. It can be resources that allow you to sell for currency, or God knows what. Like, there's all kinds of different things that you can do. I mean, this space has barely even really had a chance. But like, so basically, what you do now is you're defending this point. It's point control, and anyone at any point in time can decide to come over to the server, or into this area, and start attacking and trying to take the node from you because it's gathering resources, and they can take that, and they can make, and this is actual real money. You're actually making real money at that point in time, as long as you can defend that node. I'm not really sure how you'd be able to do that in a way where you don't have a trusted third party, though. That's the crazy part. Like, the server system would have to be really weird and interesting in order for you to pull off a game where something like that is not exploitable, right? Because the node would have to be very specific. It wouldn't be able to write to the blockchain unless it had some like real careful like analysis of what the server is, like if there's any change to the executable or anything like that, then the server simply becomes invalid and can't write to the blockchain. And stuff like that. Like, it would have to be really crazy, but something like that can exist. Like, I can definitely see that being very possible, where you have this like big open first person shooter world where all you do is go around, you build a base, and then you start drilling for resources, and it's essentially exactly the same thing as mining Bitcoin. It's the same thing, right? Except now you're doing it, and you're fighting to keep control of those mining nodes. Like, you're fighting to maintain that while you accrue currency, and people are actually showing up and trying to take it from you. Like, it actually becomes like a fight for real money. Like a real war. I imagine it would get very serious. Um, That'd actually be very serious. I can definitely see that going really horribly. Like, people would probably take that very seriously. You know what I mean? But I mean, I guess there would have to be a lot of politics or something. I don't know. Of course, that kind of leads me a little bit into thinking about like politics and stuff. Not like just not like you know uh, politics on like Twitter or something. I'm just talking about like human politics in general. The the idea that you'd have to like be friends with a certain person in order to be able to join a certain a certain group or you know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of like crazy shit that happens in virtual worlds where it ends up very much mimicking that of you know a game. I mean real life, and not so much a game. I know Eve Online has that, an awful lot of that, and it's very political. But with that said, I I don't know. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit about company politics and stuff like that. Company politics really suck, and I really one of the things that I really just I know it's probably going to happen because the chances of me being successful with what I'm doing are low, but like you know, so I know that it's probably likely that I'm gonna eventually have to get you know do something at least contract work or something like that. I'm pretty confident that what I'm doing right now is going to be cool, but I don't know if it's going to pay the bills. It's going to be really cool though, um, but like one of the main things if I had one thing to hate about company politics, you ever work for a company that tries to make it seem like everything's a family? Like, oh, we're a family. We all care about each. You ever deal with that shit? Wow, isn't that bullshit? That's such bullshit. And like people are forced to like I don't know, I guess to kind of like forced to take it seriously. I have like a strong revulsion towards no pun intended towards like fucking bullshit. Bullshit drives me fucking crazy. Like if I see something that's not true and it's obviously not true, never was and never will be, and people still take it seriously, that shit drives me nuts. And like when I see somebody like take you know it's like, "Oh, welcome to the family." What are you talking about? Like there's no family. It's a place where you work. You go to get paid. It's not a family. There's no family here. It's not a fucking family. I mean, there are always exceptions though. Like at least to some extent. Like I don't know. I felt pretty close when I was working at Nerve Software. It was pretty good, but even then, you know, I mean, you can't get away from a layoff or something like that if it's gonna happen. But like, you're there to make money. You're there to make money. Like, why would anybody at any point in time like actually fall for that shit? It drives me fucking crazy. Actually, in a way, it makes me scared. The moment I start hearing that kind of corporate speak, it immediately um scares me. And here, think about this. What it actually means is the people who work at the company are devious and they want to lull you into a false sense of security. That's what it actually means. You can you can try and you know coax this into anything that you actually want. You can try and say, oh well, blah blah blah. So, you know, there's always exceptions. Sometimes you know they really do care. You can try and say that. Okay, yeah, sure, there are some exceptions. I don't think that it's always the case. Like, I think that anytime a company tries to tell you some shit like, oh, we're a family. They're fucking lying to you. They're fucking lying to you. You're not a family. They can snap a finger and fire your ass in a heartbeat over anything for any reason. All right? And no, they're not your friends. No, they don't give a shit. You could fucking die. They wouldn't care. It would just like ruin their day. Like seriously, they wouldn't care. It's not true. There's no such thing as a fucking company, you know, family. I mean, maybe there could be kind of, but no, no, I don't. I really don't think so. And but there are a lot of things to actually watch out for. I noticed like a lot of like YouTubers and stuff like that. Right? These guys, I guess I can't say I'm not a YouTuber, but there are a lot of these YouTubers. These guys will always say some shit like you know they'll look at the metrics like, oh well, look at the stock, you know, look at the stock price, the stock value. You know, Activision and Blizzard or you know are really suffering now. And no, you got to understand, like stock prices is is nothing. The market's just gonna do whatever it wants to do. The thing that you need to be paying attention to is the other red flags, the other things. Look at what they say on the fucking job applications. Look at what they say at the job applications. I mean, you could go anywhere. You could go to any of these places and look and see. Just see the kind of shit that they put on those things. You can learn so much about what the company is actually like just by looking at what they actually require. Does the company have an overbearing HR department? Does it have that? If the answer is yes, they don't care about the content of the game. You can already extrapolate that right then and there. Do they believe in a company, in company values? No. No, they don't fucking care. They're just gonna chew you up. That's their job. That's what they want to do. That's how they get value is they grab people up and they fucking they work them to death and then they spit them out. That's what happens at these places. 9 times out of 10, there's always something really shady going on. So anybody who tries to say otherwise is actually more suspect than somebody who's just really consistent. You know what I mean? The two forms of honesty, consistency and telling the truth all the time. I always say that. I always say that there's two forms of honesty: being consistent and telling the truth all the time. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I've had so many experiences now where it's like you guys could just stop blowing smoke up my ass. Like I don't care. Like oh, it's we're a family here. We're a gracious bunch. Just doing our thing, and we don't pay overtime because we want passionate employees. And just fucking be honest, you fucking cunts. I fucking hate it. What are you fucking dumbasses? Just fucking say it. You don't want to fucking pay people because you want to treat everybody like fucking animals. Just fucking say it. I don't even care. I don't even care. It's normal. It's normal. It's quid pro quo. Like there's nothing fucking doing it. They're just taking advantage of stupid people, and it's funny because a lot of those stupid people tend to be very smart for some reason. I guess yeah. I mean, you can be super intelligent and lack common sense, I guess, or at least not understand how people view each other or like whatever. But they're not here to be your friends. They just wanna they need somebody to get the job done. And I'm wondering if I would ever do the same things. If I owned a company, would I try to do that? Probably not. Probably not. I would just be straightforward. This is it. This is the deal. You know, I just need you to do this, this, and that, and get it over with. I don't fucking care what happens to you after that. Try not to die in a car accident. If you burn to death, that's really gonna suck. Ah, time for lunch or something. But I don't know. So I guess with that, I don't know. I kind of went on my rant. I think I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, this is a 28-minute video. Great, 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 great. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and just that's my vlog for the day. I guess this is vlog number 4. Jesus. All right, take it easy, guys.